We had a very dissimilar sense of humour, you'd think. But he can also get into my way of thinking very easily as well, and he can write very clever innuendos and not so clever ones. You know, he can do the very vulgar jokes for me if he wants to. An unwanted visitor comes round to your flat, which no doubt is beautiful. Yeah. And spills red wine on your new carpet. Do you A, blow your top? B, get down on your hands and knees and blow his top? Or C, laugh off the matter and make a mental note never to marry him? C. C, you make a mental note never to marry him. All right, well, that was fascinating.
By now, Paul was a regular at the Comedy Store as comedy flooded the market. His wit and his skill at improvising were spotted by the producers of Whose Line Is It Anyway? And he and Josie Lawrence were signed up for the game show.
So, Paul, you come down, you're just improvising being at a party. You've got 2 minutes as they come in and to work out who they are. A lot of points going for you on this one, Paul. You could win by using this. It's extraordinary.
I realise the gravity of the situation.
Yes, yeah. OK, so we'll start with the first guest coming in.
I think I heard a knock at the door. Hello, you're tall, aren't you?
Paul, I'm on a step. Now, would you like me to come in? Would you
yes,
like
do
me to...
come in, please. You're the
Are you
first
sure
guest.
you want me to? Because it's up to you. It's what you want. It's your life.
Do you want me to be honest?
Yes.
Well, come in, come in. There's some twiglets there.
Twiglets,
I've got bits of cheese stuck on a stick, bits of sausage stuck on a
And do
stick.
you feel happy about this party, Paul? Do you feel happy in yourself?
I do feel happy within myself about this party.
Good.
So far...
Oops, sorry, wrong bell.
Excuse me, there's somebody at the microwave.
When I started making some money on the cabaret circuit, it seemed to be time to invest in a house. Well, I couldn't afford a house, so I found this flat instead in Streatham. It's a sort of attic flat in a converted house. And I'm glad that you're coming in because I'm particularly keen to sell it. It's the living room. Small place, very small place. I shared this place with my girlfriend at the time, Julie. And it was in here that I started to lose it mentally. I think it's probably a good way of putting it. One of the reasons I bought this flat is this particular window, because I thought on a hot summer's day, rather like this, I could stand here and enjoy the open air. I'd been making this programme called Whose Line Is It Anyway? And we'd finished making that recording, and I decided to go on holiday. I'd booked a holiday to go to Mombasa in Kenya, in Africa. Now, when you go to Africa, you have to take anti-malarial pills, in case you get anti-malaria. It's like pasta and anti-pasta. If you put the two together, there's an almighty explosion. That's why they're on different parts of the menu. But I start taking these anti-malarial pills for a week before I go to Kenya. When I come back, it's all going a bit strange, and people are looking at me in a very odd way, and I'm frightening people. And I'm still taking the anti-malarial pills because you've got to take them for 6 weeks after you come back. So I'm taking those, and I can't stop having ideas. I'm working on 2 television programmes. I'm working on a programme with Julian Clary called Sticky Moments. I'm writing that with him. I'm writing a television series for myself for Channel 4, which is, you know, is great. It's what I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to do this, and now I'm doing it, so I'm very excited. I can't stop having ideas. But even like in just walking into a pub, I'd have ideas about the pub. I'd say, you know, this pub would be so much better if they took that window out of the wall, stuck it in the ceiling, made it a skylight. Or you could move the tables from over there nearer to here, have a waitress service. Why bother queuing up for drinks? Have somebody bring you drinks, 20p extra for a pint of beer, doesn't matter. You can sit here, they can bring you the drinks, and people would say to me, "You're talking very fast."
It was the opposite of depression. He was hypermanic, and so he was finding everything fantastic and exciting, and he you know, we all get excited, but then it peaks, and then you calm down and you get used to the idea. He didn't seem to stop, you know, go from one peak to the next, and then then he became bewildered, I think, by what was going on with himself, and he did become distressed by it.
I'd work from 10 o'clock till 4 with John, then I'd catch a taxi over to Julian's place, and work from 4:30 to 10 o'clock. And I was doing this every day for about 3 months. And you know, if you're doing that amount of writing, you're not living in the real world. You're living too much in here. I feel that I was sensing something that was happening. I was very, very sensitive to atmospheres. But if you become very sensitive to atmospheres, anything can suddenly throw you. And in the end, I'd gone down to the corner shop, and I suddenly had the idea that everybody in the shop was watching me. Just a customer over there was pretending to be looking at the tins of spaghetti, but he was actually watching me, and that the shop owner could glean stuff from the credit card, not just like, you know, name, but you know, stuff about me. And he was looking at me in an odd way, but he was looking at me in an odd way because I was probably sweating and sort of looking around and looking really agitated. And I remember coming out of the shop and running down the side road back to the flat I lived in Streatham, and I had this filmic image in my head of all the houses along the road, all the curtains twitching open as I was running down the road. And I was really frightened at this point. And I was running down, and I got back into the flat, and I thought, I'm safe now, I'm in the flat. And that was that morning that I think Julie, my girlfriend, phoned up another friend of mine who came round, and I was just going completely crackers. It was very frightening for people. It was very frightening for people, and it was very frightening for me. I go into the Maudsley, and I'm just making jokes the whole time. I'm sort of like, they're trying to assess my mental state, and I'm just cracking jokes the whole time, thinking I'm being very funny. What are you looking at me like that for? Why are you asking me questions? I see, you're trying to assess my mental state. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realise you were trying to assess my mental state. I got it. Go on, ask me a question. Try to assess my mental state. Go on then, go on then. Do I ever hear voices when there's nobody else in the room? Ever hear voices when there's nobody else in the room? There's got to be a joke here somewhere. What's the joke? What's the joke? Yeah, I hear voices when there's nobody else in the room. Yeah, nobody else is there. No, I just hear them in my head. Yeah, no, nobody else can hear them. No, I can hear them. I can talk to them. I call it talking on the telephone. So there I was, cracking gags as the gate slammed behind me. Do you ever find yourself in a position where you are taken into a psychiatric hospital? I can give you one piece of advice. Don't bother saying, I shouldn't be here. Because everybody says that. I said it. Because you're there and your brain's going, well, you've done it now, haven't you? You've done it now. You wouldn't listen to me, would you? Well, I suppose it's up to me to try and get you out of this. Leave it up to me. I shouldn't be here. Nobody ever says, thank God you called out on me, I've been potty for years. One of the questions they always ask you is, are you on any medication? I showed them these anti-malarial pills. One was a daily pill, one was a weekly pill. And for the first 3 days of me being back in the Maudsley, they were giving me the weekly pill every day because they hadn't read the label, so I was going up the wall. My mother and father came to see me on a Thursday. My mother's an ex-psychiatric nurse. And she said to me, this is the best place for you to be. And I couldn't believe that she was saying this was the best place for me to be. She was right, but at the time I just thought, no, this is not where I should be.